All right, so moving on, we're going to be talking about onboarding diversity in blockchain. And so we have a panel of guests. Go ahead and add you guys in here. See if I've got everybody. All right, go ahead and take it away, team.
Hey, everyone. Yeah, so really excited to be moderating this panel. So today we are going to be talking about onboarding diversity, exploring community challenges and unique solutions. So before we get going, I'm going to get everyone to introduce themselves and share their pronouns. Cash, did you want to start us off?
Sure. Hey, how's it going? My name's Cash. Pronouns are he, him, or ze, zer.
And what are you working on?
Well, currently I'm working on Trap Chain. It's a blockchain as a service for the music industry and utilizing non-fungible tokens.
Oh.
Cool. Hey, I'm Hsin-Ju. Pronoun is she and her. I'm the CEO of Dystopia Labs. Before that, head of growth at Stellar, Solana, and Tezos.
Hey everybody, my name is Token Gamer, Jerome, he, him, and I am working on Blockchain UniVRse. It's a virtual reality meetup group. We host events and educate people about blockchain gaming, NFTs, and the likes.
Very cool. Hello everybody, my name is Chloe Lewis. Pronouns are she, her, like in the little bio there. I'm the founder of the Marja Foundation, and I guess for this talk we'll be talking more about, I am also a facilitator for a guild on Near called CreateBase, where I help support the community there.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Jaye Harril. Pronouns are she, her, and I am the community manager or one of the community managers for Quantstamp. And we help a lot of companies in the space and organizations and DAOs in the space make sure that they're secure and trying to make sure that the space itself is secure, doing our part. So yeah, before we really get started here, I just wanted to take a moment to talk about the area at which the sports castle would actually sit. This area, specifically the confluence of the Platte and Cherry Creek rivers, roughly the area where the actual sports castle sits, was the epicenter for trade, information sharing, and planning for the future communities and family, as well as conducting healing ceremonies for over 45 indigenous nations, including the Lakota, Kiowa, Comanche, Apache, Shoshone, Paiute, Zuni, Hopi, among others, and I hope I said those correctly. So we just want to honor and acknowledge that this area is on traditional territories and ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, Arpachaho, and Ute nations. Again, I hope I said those correctly. So yeah, so we're going to go through a few questions, and then after that, we're going to do a bit of a live ideation session. So, Chloe, how do you, and we're going to go, each person have a chance to discuss this. This is an open format. I'm here mostly to moderate. How do you think about community? How do you approach building it?
So personally, when I approach community, it's usually, again, I think earlier in one of the sessions I was in, but usually on a one-on-one format. With the CreateBase Guild, a lot of what we do is just support different teams and projects coming into the space. And so I really take each project or group that comes in uniquely, and I just try my best to support each individual that comes into the community as if they were like the only person in the community. And I just try my best, because I mean, everyone who comes into each community have their own goals they want to achieve, in my opinion, from that community. Everyone has different amounts of time they can commit to the community as well. So as a community leader, I feel like it's really important to get to know what those goals are for each person. And I try my best just to do what I can to support.
Cash?
So how do I think about community? Okay.
And how do you approach building it?
Yeah, I try to take a historical approach. I think about the ways in which the Black community in particular has been, sabotaged intentionally and systematically globally, and how that directly affects their ability to participate in these decentralized financial markets. And I try to take an approach to, onboard folks to whether it's setting up their wallets or going through a series of deep dives. I've been personally doing education services and helping folks get more, I guess, conditioned to the vocabulary and the technical aspects of NFTs.
Hsin-Ju, how about yourself?
Cool. So I guess I think of community more from a marketing standpoint. So community to me, I view it in terms of acquisition. So I view the whole world as one giant funnel with a lot of different mini funnels based off of what country and what languages. And then from those mini funnels, there's different personas that you're targeting. So with every single persona, there's different content and different things that matter to them. So what you want to care about is the composition of the people within this giant funnel, and also making sure they convert well further down the funnel. And the more diverse it is, the more the better it is, because we're trying to build something that's global. And if we aren't able to reach a lot of people at the top of the funnel, we're not going to be able to educate them later on down the road. I mean, we can, it's just harder. So that's why acquisition at the top of the funnel is so important.
And Ro?
Makes sense. So I look at community in terms of, the more aware the newest person in the space is, the best it is for everyone in the room. So when I host my virtual reality events in alt space, I try to make sure that, anybody that's walking through and attends one of my events is aware of the NFTs that we have hanging up in the room, some of the different NFT artists, and educating them about this space and how they can get into this space, as well as we do events. So just last week, we had a art gallery with shout out to the art gallery art auction. If you guys follow them on Telegram, we worked with them in auctioning around 3 ETH worth of different NFTs. We had about 20 to 30 artists, and a lot of those artists have never been into crypto, never made crypto art, never made an NFT, didn't even know what it was. We kind of walked them all step by step through how to get into this space, how to make an NFT, and then put their art into a virtual reality gallery, which you could walk around with the VR headset or on your computer and be able to communicate and talk to other people, as well as auction off some of those pieces.
So, and this is an open question, if anyone can just jump in. What unique challenges have you encountered in building diverse communities, and what are some tactics and or strategies you've used?
I'll jump right in on that one. The hardest challenge I've had is getting more people in the crypto space to get into VR. I can easily get people that are into video games or other platforms to jump into VR, come check it out, talk to them, educate them about NFTs in the space, and they instantly buy in. But when you try to tell a lot of people that are into crypto, going on crypto Twitter, telling them, hey, come check out my event, silence.
I think the hardest part about explaining to folks the differences between non-fungible tokens and I guess traditional coins is breaking out what non-fungible actually means, and then that gets into a whole financial discussion about lack of representation of folks and not having access to financial capital markets, and then it goes into the decisive elements that have traditionally kept people from being able to participate in these financial markets, and ultimately why NFTs as a technology is opening up so many new pathways for folks, especially in the arts and entertainment communities, where Black people tend to be preyed upon a lot of times economically by different organizations within the tech industry and beyond.
So for me personally, oh, sorry, go ahead, Jay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just saying, trying to make sure that the community stayed as diverse as possible, in my opinion, requires trying to search out people from more diverse communities. So, as people were saying already, like crypto Twitter might have one way of looking at things, video gamers might have one way of looking at things. But in my opinion, if you want to have a diverse community, you need to make sure that you're going to the most diverse places and making sure that they feel welcome coming into that community. So whether it's just, making them feel like they can come and say whatever they want to say, but also making sure that that central place the community meets is somewhere that people feel comfortable expressing themselves in however they might express themselves. I think, from these different parts of the crypto space, people of all different walks of life all have different ways of communicating and expressing themselves. And it's amazing that a lot of the people on the panel are, work with NFTs, because even in the create-based community, we work with NFTs as well. And it's really important to make sure that no matter what area of life people are coming from, they're able to come into the group, express themselves, and feel comfortable doing so. And I think that's really how you make people feel comfortable from any walk of life within a community.
Okay, so I'm getting the sense that creating spaces and leveraging art is actually a good tactic. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is kind of a related question, and I don't know that it's going to add too much more, but how do you approach new communities and get them on board? Is there a difference when talking about crypto, blockchain, DeFi, Bitcoin, or NFTs, etc.? Because they're a different sort of approach or language.
Yeah, I definitely try to approach by dumbing it down as easy as possible, and the least the words, the better. So just educating people as to, why do they need to be paying attention to this space? And the number one thing that gets a lot of people's attention, I usually ask them right off the bat, is how much US dollars will ever exist? How much Bitcoin will ever exist? And then they go, I don't know. And I'll let 21 million Bitcoin. And that immediately gets them to go, oh, that makes a scarcity behind it. Yeah. And, the conversation just is easier from there.
I think, for me, the most important thing is actually just going to a lot of different communities and listening to what they care about, because communities care about different things, and understanding what will convert them will help you create content and create educational information that will be more useful for that particular community. Because a lot of times something that's useful to one group won't be useful to another group. So the more you listen, the more exposed you are to more people, the better you'll be able, the more diverse community you'll be able to create.
Okay, so then I guess as community builders, do you feel like you are missing out on YOLO food tokens? And if so, how? Or why?
I'll jump on this one after Hsin-Ju's comment. I think that point of trying to listen and go to as many communities as possible and try to figure out what educational materials will impact each community and bring them on board. I think that requires a lot of extra time that kind of takes away potentially from being able, in my opinion anyways, from being able to focus on a lot of the DeFi, aspects of the market, or all of the economic aspects of the market in general. So I know personally for me, I purposefully try and keep myself out of as much of the economic sides of the market as possible, to make sure that I have as much time as possible to focus on being in communities and listening, because I feel like if I'm taking my time and looking at the markets and looking at the price changes every day, then I might not be able to be in that one extra community and listen to that one extra thing that can bring people on board.
So then what would make an experience in crypto, say, 100 times better? Is it a culture question? Is it a technology question? Any answer is accepted.
I'll jump on that one. You know, me, the VR guy here in Miami, love to make people more immersed in virtual reality. So whether it's, you know, you're at home on a computer, or if you have a VR headset, or if you come down to Miami, a lot of the events that I go to, I always make sure that I have my VR headset there to make sure that people are more immersed in this space, especially to like see NFTs, not just on their phone and scrolling through, but to be able to walk around like an art gallery and be able to see NFTs, be able to purchase an NFT. Just educating them on that space. When I first started with my VR worlds, I actually built like an educational facility in my world where you could walk around and like learn about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency just by like walking through a museum in a sense.
So making it contextual, and like making it almost like physical in a way, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, in a sense. Imagine if you had a physical gallery or museum to educate people, but without needing to actually build a physical gallery, just put a headset on their head or have them go to the application on their computer, and they can still get that same experience. They could still, you know, be immersed in the community and talk to other people and actually like hang out. And I love when I come to my world and there's already people there hanging out, talking about crypto.
Yeah, I think that making things more human readable, more human relatable is what's going to help folks honestly get onboarded. I still think that there's like a huge gap in folks being able to become onboarded due to the high gas fees and so forth. And then trying to break down the different layer 2 solutions gets you really far off into the weeds of folks who especially are like not really, you know, keen with tech terminologies and so forth. So I try to use things that are like human, you know, relatable, like sneakers. And that's where Sneaker Cred came from last year when I, you know, started embarking upon the path of introducing folks to NFTs and the idea that, you know, people collect things that they don't even wear like sneakers and they use them as collectibles and financial assets, and turning that into a way they can collect and trade, but also, you know, get into the idea of this digital asset. And then now I'm doing a similar thing with music, right? Because these are some of the things that folks are used to collecting. They're used to being able to interact with on a more like human sociable way. And I think that, you know, ultimately like being able to integrate like creative technology such as non-fungible tokens within different marketplaces, such as like video gaming, but also in other areas like music and video, and also like with digital collectibles like sneakers.
Okay. All right, so then a question to everyone before we kind of move on to the last little bit into a bit of an ideation session. So how do we get more network participants, whether DeFi or L1 or otherwise, to create an equitable space for those without enough time, capital, or capacity, given some of the strategies that we've and comments that we've had so far?
I have one, but I'll share. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I think that there needs to be a dedicated treasury pool or like a grant pool to help folks from underrepresented communities and backgrounds who like can't afford to like purchase their first, you know, gas for their first collectible, or there should be some type of way that we can limit, you know, the amount of initial investment for just participating in some of these networks, because, you know, due to the systemic like redlining of certain folks from capital markets, they just don't have like access to be able to participate. And I think that's ultimately why we're not seeing as much user adoption, is because like the insurmountable amount of like capital it takes to like even onboard to NFTs right now is like really, you know, it's immense.
And then I'll say that it's really helpful when when people in your community are getting connected with like politicians in the space. So a real big shout out to my friends Erica, Gemma, and Scott for getting connected with Mayor Francis Suarez and making sure that he's aware. A lot of people know that Miami is now looking to be the crypto city of the world. And then on top of that, just hosting really amazing events, trying to make sure that it's you know, accessible to everyone. So not throwing $100,000 events, but throwing events that are for free and have sponsors, and having people come in, get little goodie bags, you know, get NFTs and learning about the space. So with that, I got to give a shout out to Bit Miami. Bit Basel is doing a lot of amazing things, and they're making it so that way anybody that's in Miami or that comes to Miami can come to a crypto event, have a good time, get fully immersed in the community, and want to learn more and grow with this community.
Yeah. Small free events. Totally agree. I feel those do so much like legwork.
Yeah, I feel like it's really important to make sure that the educational benefits from all these events, but also the incentives align. So, to have a diverse community, I'm sure that the incentives that those community members are looking for are going to be diverse as well. And so ensuring that anyone that comes to the event, so first of all, the barriers to entry to the event are low, like everyone's been saying, but ensuring that when someone comes to the event, they're learning something, hopefully, and that they're gaining something for themselves. And I think that's how you get people to come back to your events, because they're not just coming, and getting what everyone is getting. Maybe they're getting something that they really wanted from the event. They're learning something from the event. And then the next time they come, they can build upon that knowledge. And then hopefully they can start teaching others, and the community starts to grow for everyone that's able to come in.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think like the most important thing when you think about making traders into network participants is the first thing is to make sure they own your token. Because if they don't, people will pay attention to their bags. And once you get someone to start paying attention to a project, they'll automatically start going down the rabbit hole. And as they go down the rabbit hole, it's an opportunity to get them to start using the product instead of just shilling prices. So once they start digging in, like they can either be a validator on a layer 1 and start earning like money, or they can there's so much people can do, but like they don't know they can do that until like they start digging in and they have incentive to dig in. So a lot of this problem is like layer 1 token distribution. Like it's not very well distributed to a lot of different diverse communities. So like it's very hard for them to like have money to pay for gas fees. And it's like very hard for like certain communities to get started. So like distribution like does matter a lot on the layer 1 side. And because it's access basically.
I think there's a lot of great points brought up. We have a little bit of time left. So let's just do a quick ideation session until our time is cut. So how do you build a system? Let's just, open ideas with off-the-shelf parts or existing product ideas, where community builders are incentivized to continue caring about individual network participants. Are there ways that could make it more equitable that can also help fund public goods that's important to respective communities? So using off-the-shelf parts.
Yeah, I actually wanted to double down on like the cultural question. I think that a lot of the tools and frameworks that are being introduced are, coming again from a more like financial market perspective, and also like not necessarily like taking into consideration that, certain barriers to entry exist actually to keep folks from being able to enter, and like finding out ways in which you can implement strategies like, APIs as a service, like with API 3, and helping folks to, disseminate information about blockchain as a service, like what I'm doing with TrapChain, which is essentially educating people on how to, start up their own tool chains and their own side chains in order to like, skip around these high gas fees on Ethereum.
Definitely agree. Culture is hugely important for network participants.
Yeah, and I'll have to pull off of what Hsin-Ju was saying again about like the distribution of layer 1 tokens. I think that's a huge, issue that has been in the space for a really long time, where someone new comes into a new network. I mean, in the past, maybe we were only thinking about Ethereum, but now, I mean, there's chains all over the place. But still, I think if you don't hold the bags for a certain chain, it's really hard to really get involved and start going down that rabbit hole. So ensuring that, I think from the very get-go, to have a foundation where a community starting with maybe a grant, like people have, I think Cash was saying, having a grant program, and I'll show personally, create base on the near system where they try and distribute as many layer 1 tokens to as many different guilds as possible. And I think that helps each guild become its own little community that gets to distribute tokens into as many hands as possible, so that those individuals can start going down their own rabbit holes. So I think any way in which you can start off where like layer 1 tokens are in the hands of individuals, which they can then build something on top of, is going to be a good starting place.
Did anyone want to add to that?
No, I totally agree. I really would like to double down on the fact that I think that a lot of the value of, scientific research and mathematicians and, folks who contributed to the space that come from underrepresented backgrounds, we really have like the support and financial support and economic support, specifically from within the community itself with the frameworks and tools that are needed for building. I think there needs to be, an extended amount of like scholarships and grants in order to help facilitate the educational process. Because right now I'm just taking upon this mantle of, throwing people down the rabbit hole of smart contract development for NFTs and different marketplaces. And it's something that I'm doing to move the space forward, because I think that in order for it to move forward, people need to know about it and how to actually use the tools and the frameworks. And ultimately, we need some type of like, financial economic system with, maybe an upgraded game theory. I think the game theory is outdated and is run off of an old model of like economic hitman. And I think that ultimately, in order to grant more user adoption and bring more people into the space, we need a new game theory for token economics.
Fully agree with that. I think people are very stuck in existing frameworks of game theory when, it is just that, it's just theory. So we have 30 seconds left. I'm going to go around the table and everyone give a chance to shill. Chloe?
Oh, I'll just shill CreateBase. It's a guild on Near where if you're an artist who wants to get into some experimentations from whatever community that you're in, as diverse as it can be, we're here to support you with finances, with whatever else you might need. So come into the CreateBase group and learn more about that.
Tash?
I'm going to shield TrapChain. It's a personal pet project of mine I'm building. So you can email me beats@TrapChain. It's spelled TRAPCHA.IN. .IN stands for Internet of Blockchain. So we're planning on building out side chains for Cosmos, Polkadot, and any other side chain or other EVM-based blockchain. But it's mostly for Black music artists and folks who are in the NFT space.
Hsin-Ju?
Dystopia Labs, we have another conference coming up on March 4th. It's 100% free. Stop by.
Rome?
Definitely going to shout out and show the other half at the BTC Queen on Twitter, as well as my homie Kozak. And guys, just come check out some of the virtual reality events. If you haven't been in VR, if you have a Mac or PC, come check out Altspace and look for Blockchain UniVRse. We have a lot of fun talking about crypto all the time.
Oh, one last show. Check out a drop I'm doing at the end of this month through UniVRse Contemporary. It's going to be on Super Rare. We're going to drop a bunch of really dope sneaker collectibles.
Cool.
Looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
Every month I do a small free talk around ETH2. Check my Twitter out. Thank you very much. Have
Thank
a
you
good
so
one.
much for hosting,
Thanks
Jay.
for joining us.
Thanks to
Thank you.
Jay.
Yeah, no, thank you for joining me. This is fantastic. Hey, John.
Hey. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome job. Loved it. You guys have fun?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this was good. This is really good. Almost getting, I don't know if anyone knew this, but I was getting kicked out of the room. I booked it for 11 to 11:30, and then I locked the door, and then someone like, oh, I have it booked for 11:30 when I'm like live.
Oh no.
So
Go away.
yeah, there's enough rooms. There's other rooms. Like,
Cool.
not a big deal.
Well, thanks everyone.
Perfect. Thank you so much, John, as well.
Thanks, Jay, for putting this together.
You got it.
Thanks to Simona. All right.